We are approximately 3 days away from the 2023 NBA Draft, and I could not be more excited. Victor Wembenyama officially getting drafted into the NBA. It's going to be an exciting time for NBA fans. The NBA Draft is always one of the most exciting events of the season. This year it was the Victor Wembenyama sweepstakes, so we're going to be going over a full first round mock draft for me today. This will be the second to last mock draft video on the channel. It's kind of crazy. So make sure to hit the like button and leave me a comment down below as it really what's out in the YouTube algorithm. Also hit the subscribe button if you do enjoy today's video at any point. And a huge shocker with the number 1 overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs are going to be taking Victor Wembenyama, potentially the greatest prospect of all time. I mean, this guy's ceiling is higher than anything we've ever seen. And I feel like I could say that very confidently. This guy at 7'5", unreal what he can do scoring-wise and what he can do defensively. Just absolutely, nobody can really score on him, especially in the paint. He's 7'5", and his hand touches the square on the backboard without jumping. It's insane. The best situation, in my opinion, for him would be the San Antonio Spurs. We've seen Greg Popovich land that number 1 overall pick and develop players from that spot. So I think Wemby is going to be a big-time addition for this. I mean, obviously, but I think it's going to be a great fit as well. I think he's going to be able to get the most out of his talent in San Antonio. Now, 2, we have the Charlotte Hornets. Make no mistake about it. Even though he's going to be the number 2 overall pick, Scoot Henderson is an absolute dog. He has a much higher floor, I feel like, than Victor Wembenyama because of, Vic is he's going to be injury prone just because of his height. The number 2 player in the class without a doubt, and definitely a franchise point guard. I feel like him alongside of LaMelo Ball is going to be box office. You also have Miles Bridges there, Mark Williams. It's going to be a fun Charlotte Hornets team to watch next year. And yeah, like I said, it's going to be box office. The fit beside Melo, I mean, they're just both going to have to try and play together. It could be a little awkward at first, but I feel like once they get the hang of it, and yes, 2 ball-dominant guards, but also 2 guys that can really, really facilitate the ball. Now at number 3, we have the Portland Trailblazers on the clock, and they're going to go out and get Brandon Miller. This is probably a pick that ends up getting traded. We will see what happens in the coming days, but Brandon Miller, probably the second best shooter in this class, maybe third best. Maybe you put Jordan Hawkins over him, but he's a guy that can really, really score it. He's built for the modern day NBA. Him at number 3 is kind of crazy. That's just how good this draft class is, but he's a pure scorer. Like I said, 6'9", very tough to contest with the high release point. I feel like he's going to be a superstar one day in the NBA, whether it's in Portland or wherever they trade him to. Now, he could very well be selected by Charlotte as well. He could be in contention for that number 2 overall pick, but I want the Hornets to take Scoot as a Charlotte Hornets fan. Now at number 4, we have the Houston Rockets on the board, and they get the most intriguing prospect in this draft class in Amen Thompson. Insane length, insane athleticism at the point guard spot. 6'7", elite defender. He can score it, he can pass it. He can really do whatever you want. He can lock you up on the perimeter. Perfect franchise point guard, in my opinion, due to all the intangibles. You talk about defense, you talk about scoring, passing. He can get it all done, ladies and gentlemen. So Amen Thompson is going to be the number 4 overall pick to the Houston Rockets. And again, they're probably going to be moving on from Kevin Porter Jr. Now we have the Detroit Pistons on the clock. And this is a team that maybe they're not getting the best prospect on the board right here, although Cam Whitmore, he is a dog. But they're going, they need some wing depth. He's going to step in. He's going to be the starting small forward from day 1, in my opinion, unless you keep Bojan as your starting small forward, which could make sense. Although, as a veteran, maybe you go with the young guy in Cam Whitmore, who has all the potential, an insane athlete with a big frame that he's got all the potential in the world to be an elite small forward in the NBA. Maybe he transitions over to the 2 guard, but I mean, you see the highlights. So athletic. Speaking of transitioning, now we're going to go over to Fanspo with the number 6 overall pick. We have the Orlando Magic on the clock, and they're going to be going out and getting Grady Dick. We got to go ahead and start speeding it up a little bit. I don't want this video to be too long, but Grady Dick at 6 to the Orlando Magic. 6'7", shooting guard out of Kansas. He can really shoot it. He's going to come in, probably be the starting shooting guard from day 1. I can see the Taylor Hendricks argument, but I'm a big Jonathan Isaac believer. I think you got to give him at least 1 more year to show you what he can do when he's healthy. So Grady Dick is going to the Orlando Magic at 6. Now at 7, we have the Pacers, and by far the best player on this board now becomes Taylor Hendricks, who will be going to the Indiana Pacers, probably starting over Jalen Smith from day one. So you're looking at Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, Aaron Nesmith, maybe at the 3, maybe Jordan Nora, and then Taylor Hendricks and Miles Turner. That's a very, very fun, young, exciting starting lineup. Now at 8, we have the Washington Wizards. We're going to see what happens with the whole Bradley Beal situation. They still have Kristaps, but maybe they just completely blow it up and acquire as many picks as possible. They've been whiffing here lately. Kispert, Ashvita, Johnny Davis. I mean, that's 3 lottery picks that are not really panning out for them over the last couple of years. So Bradley Beal going to be on the way out. Wouldn't surprise me if Kristaps is as well. And so Anthony Black is going to be the starting point guard for this Wizards team now. I think he's got all the potential in the world. Great defender. He can score a little bit, but at 6'7", they've got him listed as a shooting guard. He's going to be a point guard. I think he's going to be very good. Cason Wallace could also go there as well. Now at 9, we have the Utah Jazz. Markkanen could shift over to the small forward spot, but if he stays at power forward, then they take Jarace Walker, play him at the 3. If not, Jarace Walker plays at the 4. Either way, your forward duo is going to be Jarace Walker and Lauri Markkanen. That's going to be very fun. Jarace is going to be your lead defender, while Markkanen's going to be your lead scorer, but Jarace still with all the potential in the world on the offensive side of the ball, so that's who is going to be going 9th overall to the Jazz. Now at 10, we have the Dallas Mavericks, and this is where, this could get a little interesting. I'm going to have Azar Thompson come off the board. Elite defender alongside Luka and Kyrie. We'll see what happens with Tim Hardaway Jr. If I had it my way, he'd probably be on the way out. They don't need any more scoring. Derek Lively's the other pick here, but I think they can go elsewhere in free agency. Maybe they try to bring in like a Brook Lopez type. But Azar Thompson is going to come in and play this small forward position and immediately be the best player on this team. He can also knock down the open 3 at times, but his shot making will have to progress as he matures as a player. Now at 11, we have the Orlando Magic, and this is where it gets interesting. Because I've been mocking Jordan Hawkins to them, but I've kind of, he's kind of slipped down my draft board for him. However, that's kind of what they need. So here I'm going to have them go out and get Kobe Buffkin out of Michigan, another guy that can play the 2-guard spot. Really good scorer, elite going to his left hand, a good athlete. I think he's going to fit in nicely with the Orlando Magic. Now at 12, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is between Bilal Coulibaly and Derek Lively. However, I am going to have them go Derek Lively. They missed out on the Victor Wembenyama sweepstakes. They're going to play Chet at the 4, let Lively come in and be the 5, and that's a lot of length in the front court for the Thunder. So Derek Lively out of Duke is going to be the 12th overall pick. Now at 13, we have the Raptors, who get Bilal Coulibaly. OG Pascal could be on the way out soon. Coulibaly coming in. He's a Raptors-type guy. He's got all the potential in the world, and I think he's going to be an elite small forward for the Raptors, kind of taking over that OG Anunoby role. Now at 14, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. And honestly, I think we're going to have to go Cason Wallace here. He's the best player on the board by far. They have Dyson Daniels. They have Keir Lewis Jr., Jose Alvarado. One of them's probably going to have to be traded. Maybe Dyson Daniels transfers back over to the shooting guard spot. He can't really shoot, though, so that doesn't make sense. But Cason Wallace is going to be the pick here. Elite defender. It's been rumored the Pelicans are trying to move up to get Scoot Henderson. We'll see what happens with that. But if they do stay at 14, Cason Wallace is the pick for them. Now at 15, we have the Atlanta Hawks on the board. And you could go power forward here. You could go small forward. They got John Collins, Jalen Johnson, Clint Capella, Onyeka Okongwu. Collins and Capella is probably about time to move on from. AJ Griffin's still developing at the small forward spot. And you also got DeAndre Hunter and Sadiq Bey, as well as Bogdan Bogdanovic. This is a good Hawks team, so I'm going to take Chris Murray for them, another scorer in the front court that can also defend, and I think he will fit in very nicely. He maybe even could start to steal some minutes from John Collins. Now at 16, we have the Utah Jazz, and this is a guy that, if it wasn't for the injury concerns, he would be so much higher on my board. He's a guy with insane potential at 6'7", built like an NFL linebacker. So we're going to have Dariq Whitehead going off the board here. They got Chris Dunn. They got Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, Ochai. They really don't have anybody at that forward spot. They get Joyce Walker. Now they get Dariq Whitehead, and I think that's going to be a good pick. And then now at 17, this fits very nicely for the Lakers. They just need shooting. Who's the best shooter on the board? He's the second best shooter in the class, probably. Him or Brandon Miller. And Jordan Hawkins is going to be the pick here for the Los Angeles Lakers just because they need a guy that can absolutely knock it down from downtown. Now we have the 18th overall pick, and we're going to have the Miami Heat go out and select Maxwell Lewis, a guy that can defend, score, and knock down the three ball at the small forward spot. They need more depth on the wings. He can play the 2 or the 3, and I think he's going to come in and play very, very nicely. He's a Miami Heat type guy, in my opinion. So at 18 overall, we have the Heat getting that. Now, we have the Golden State Warriors. And this is actually where I had G.G. Jackson mocked here. This is actually where I'm going to have Leonard Miller go. At 6'10", he can defend. That's what the Warriors were missing this playoff run, it felt like, was a guy that could lock up at the power forward spot. Draymond only 6'7". He can't guard some of those taller defenders or taller guys on offense. And then Kevon Looney, he can't really guard on the perimeter. Kuminga's there. They just didn't use him. So Leonard Miller at 6'10" is going to come in and be a defensive stopper for them. And he also is very nice cutting off the ball, fills in gaps very well. So I think he's going to work great with Steph Curry. Now at 20, we have the Houston Rockets, and this is where Bryce Sensabaugh is going to go. He has simply fallen too far. He's the best player on the board, and he's going to fit in nicely, probably coming off the bench for them. Now at 21, we have the Nets with their first of their 2 picks. The first pick here is going to be Jet Howard out of Michigan, a guy that can come in and help out at the 2 or the 3, can knock down the 3 ball, and can score a little bit, also defend at 6'8". And then Jalen Hood-Schifino is going to be the second overall pick for the Brooklyn Nets. Dinwiddie, Simmons, Patty Mills, they don't really have a point guard, and I feel like Jalen Hood-Schifino, who really came on towards the end of the year, can come in and provide that for them. Now at 23, we have the Portland Trail Blazers on the board, and this is where G.G. Jackson is going to go. He's a guy that can take a swing on. If Jeremy Grant decides to not come back, maybe G.G. Jackson is the answer there at the power forward spot. A lot of potential. Again, a younger guy in this class, 6'9", 6'10". He needs to work on that shot selection. It's not the best at times, but I feel like G.G. Jackson out of South Carolina is going to be a nice fit for the Blazers. Now at 24, we have the Sacramento Kings, and this is, again, best player on the board, a guy that can come in, knock down the 3 ball. He can score a little bit off the bench. Another Baylor guy to go with Davion Mitchell, Keontae George. Now, they could probably use a power forward that can knock down the 3 ball. There's not really one on the board, other than like Jordan Miller. But that's about it. So at 24, we're going to have them go with the best player on the board. Now at 25, we have the Grizzlies. And they're going to go with a guy that has tons of upside. A guy that can play the point or the 2 spot that also had a lot of injuries this year. If it wasn't for injuries, I feel like he'd be so much higher on this board. So at 25, we're going to have the Memphis Grizzlies take Nick Smith Jr. Now at 26, we have the Pacers back on the clock, and this is where they're going to take a swing on a guy in Ryan Rupert that can develop into an elite defender and can also knock down the 3 ball if, he is developed correctly. So Rupert to the Pacers there, just kind of a swing on potential and upside. The Hornets, oh boy. What are the Hornets going to do? They're going to take Jordan Miller out of Miami. I'm a big Jordan Miller guy, and he's just another wing that can come in, knock down the 3 ball, and defend. Very efficient when he shoots it. We saw that in his NCAA tournament run. So Jordan Miller to the Hornets right there. Now at 28, we have the Utah Jazz on the clock, and they're going to go out and get... what do they need? They'll get another scorer because Jordan Clarkson probably on the way out soon. So Brandon Podziemski, I believe is how you pronounce it, out of Santa Clara, going 28th overall to the Utah Jazz. He averaged like 20 a game this year as a sophomore, but he didn't play last year at Illinois, which is where the concerns come in. He's not great against length and athleticism, but other than that, he's worthy of a first-round selection, so the Jazz are going to pick him up there. Now Noah Clowney is going to be the 29th overall pick here. Again, the Pacers taking a swing on a guy with tons of upside that, he's just not... He's not NBA ready. He's going to need a couple years before he can even be thought about putting in the rotation, but he is a guy that, if developed correctly, can be a nice piece in that Pacers rotation. Now at 30, we have the LA Clippers on the clock, and this is going to be the final pick of the first round, and it's going to be, you might call me crazy, I like these Miami boys though, Isaiah Wong out of Miami. I think he's NBA ready. He's been NBA ready for a long time, and they need guys that can come in and immediately produce if Westbrook does leave. Bones Highland already starting to sour a little bit in Los Angeles, so Isaiah Wong could be a very nice replacement there. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this full first round mock draft. I feel like this is pretty good. I almost got my board solidified. I'm going to try and scout 5 to 10 more players, but again, we're running out of time. So that's how the first round is looking. Like I said, y'all let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you got any suggestions on a prospect I missed, make sure to put them in there. If you feel free to argue down in the comments down below. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah, with all that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. There's going to be one more final first round mock draft coming out soon, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the post notifications so you don't miss out on that. Hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and with all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.